Tiffany McCord, the Circuit Clerk for Montgomery, Alabama, and we're going to talk a little bit about today what she's doing next. So hey, Miss McCord, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and what got you really inspired to going into law?
Okay. So I am a product of a family that comes from rural Alabama, where both my parents were raised on a farm. Money was not something that there was ever an abundance of. And I grew up moving from place to place, spent some time living in the projects. Sometimes, we went through all the struggles that you hear folks go through who come from a poverty-stricken background. And with that, I had cousins and I had, people that I knew who got into trouble or was arrested. And overwhelmingly, they would say, I did not get adequate legal representation. Overwhelmingly, they said it over and over and over again. They were always dissatisfied with their attorneys. I wanted to be something different. I wanted to be a help. I wanted to give people who really couldn't afford an attorney great legal representation. And so I went to law school. And I became an attorney. And guess what? I did that. My very first job out of law school was working at the Federal Defenders. And the model there was total advocacy. That meant we did everything from, we had a social worker on staff, we had investigators, we had everything you could need to assist someone in their legal defense. And there was never a question whether our loyalty was to our client or to the state or to the federal government. It was always to our client. And I learned from there how to be a good attorney, how to provide and how to advocate on behalf of folks who can't afford attorneys. And I think, the Federal Defenders Program for the Middle District of Alabama so much for what they taught me during that time. Because after that, I opened my own practice and I continued to work in juvenile court, representing kids who were caught in the legal system, who had difficulties, and I represented adults in circuit court, in municipal court, in district court. So I've had a wide range of practice when it came to representing those who really did not have the money or who could not come in and bring you a $10,000 retainer. Because I don't know a lot of people who has $10,000 sitting around. So that's where I started. With that, I did divorces, child custody, child support. I worked as a volunteer mediator, well, not worked, but I volunteered as a mediator in district court, helping to resolve disputes between people who had civil issues. And so I've been probably practicing in every aspect of court that you could probably practice in.
Okay. So with you being the first African-American circuit court clerk, do you feel like there's a lack of diversity in Montgomery's judicial system?
Well, you've been through my office, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you see that, I think when I first got here, there was not much diversity. But through people retiring, through people leaving to go to other places, we've been able to hire a very competent and diverse staff. Now, I want to be clear, I always hire the best possible candidate. Absolutely the best possible candidate. But we've been able to have a lot of diversity in this office. I think when it comes to diversity, I think there's a lack of women representation. There probably needs to be more of that. But I think in Montgomery County, we do a very good job of dealing with diversity and not doing it for the sake of diversity, but doing it because we're hiring or we're electing the right person, the person who's competent and able to do the job.
So you are now running for district judge, correct?
I am.
Okay. So what prompted you to want to run for district judge?
Well, I've always wanted to be a district judge. And if you look at my history, you will see that that's where I have always wanted to go. Many people want the position because they want to be a judge, or they want the position because they want to go somewhere else or do something else.
Mm-hmm.
I want the position because district court is the people's court. That's where real people come to court and hash out real issues.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't the big corporations fighting other big corporations. It's, Bob and Sue right there together,
Mm-hmm.
handling disputes and listening to, or someone listening to their dispute who actually can empathize,
Mm-hmm.
who knows what it's like to sometimes, not always have all the money you need,
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what it is to, have a medical bill. So, I want to be that person for our people. And when I say our people, I mean all of Montgomery County.
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery County deserves to have judges who are compassionate, judges who are fair, judges who will listen, judges who will allow you to have their day in court. I have a very dear friend, and her one of the statements that she said to me that would always stick to me, and it was, if justice isn't in the courthouse, then where is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be here, and I want to make sure that the people who come to district court will get their day in court and get justice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is your goal or mission once you get into this position? What do you want to bring about?
Fairness and justice. To be perfectly honest, have you ever ran across someone who said that they did not have a fair shake at court?
Yes, a lot of people.
And that's the problem. That should not be a pervasive feeling.
Right.
People should feel like when they come to court that they're going to be treated fairly.
Mm-hmm.
That it won't be folks with a whole bunch of money,
Yeah.
Looking out for their friends. I was raised poor. I probably got more today, and I love my pastor. He always says, how many of us have more today than we've ever had before?
Mm-hmm.
I have more today than I've ever had before in life, but I still don't have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a whole bunch of rich friends. I have people. I have a heart for people. I have a love for people. And so that's what I want to bring, fairness, and change the perception that it's not fair when you get to the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that change agent.
So what do you feel is your competitive advantage against other people that are running for district judges?
Well, I don't think about the other folks who are running,
Mm-hmm.
or if anyone is running, because I don't know. My advantage is I have extensive legal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a competitive advantage. This is an advantage to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I have extensive legal experience. I have been in this courthouse. My daughter is 15, and I remember working upstairs as the executive director of the Montgomery County Bar Association. I had gained 62 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had her, I was working upstairs
Mm-hmm.
in the Montgomery County Bar Association. I've had a lifetime in this courthouse. I know the rules of law.
Mm-hmm.
I know how the system works. And I will be fair.
Mm-hmm.